Tamil Nadu Chief Minister calls the CBI raids at the Maran residences a mere eyewash and adds that it's unlikely that there would be any documents left. But the Maran's granduncle comes to the rescue. Karunanidhi says he will support them always and will face issues legally. CBI director is likely to soon appear before the Madras High Court to show the agency's progress in cracking the law student Satish's murder. Around 300 election violation cases are registered against candidates of various political parties for allegedly violating the Election Commission norms during campaign. As attacks on the Indian fishermen continue even before Foreign Secretary lands in Colombo, Jayalalitha writes to the Prime Minister, says such attacks are acts of aggression against India. And just after the campaigning ends, former DMK Minister K.N. Nehru is released from the Kadalur jail ahead of the Trichy bypolls. And a curfew-like situation takes over Kudankulam with villagers continuing an indefinite fast near the nuclear plant, shops and business houses shut. It is 8 on the clock and you're watching Headlines Now with me, Anu George Kanjanathoppil. A quick look at the national headlines. LK Advani's Rath rolls out for a 38-day yatra. Is this his last attempt to project himself for India's top job? The Bhushans and Arvind Kejriwal are using you for politics, Digvijaya Singh writes an open letter to Anna Hazare. The problem in India is if someone says a rooster gives an egg, it will become news. Yuvraj tweets broker Majid's claim in the fixing case are rubbish. The International Cricket Council gives into the Indian board ends the mandatory use of decision review system. An Italian ship, MV Monte Cristo, with 10 Indians on board is hijacked 620 miles off the Somalian coast. And superstar Amitabh Bachchan turns 69 today. A day after CBI charged and raided the Maran brothers in the 2G scam, sources have now told NDTV that CBI is now collating all documents seized in the raids and are preparing a list. Once the list is prepared, CBI is expected to summon Maran for questioning. A day after the National Investigating Agency, the CBI filed a case against the Maran brothers and raided the residence and offices of Kalanidhi and Dayanidhi Maran. The Chief Minister and Supremo of the ruling party, Ms. Jayalalitha, has been quick to react. Amma, who shares a bitter and lengthy rivalry with the Marans, says that the brothers have little to worry about. Speaking on camera, the AIDMK chief called the process an attempt to hoodwink and cheat the people. She added that since it's been a good 4 years since the scam broke, it would be unlikely that the Marans would have left any incriminating documents for now. The telecom scam has left the DMK reeling in its wake. Also yesterday, the CBI indicated that it will not oppose Kanimozhi's application for bail, scheduled to be heard in a Delhi court on October 17th.
The CBI raids on the Maran brothers and their offices and their associates appear to be a mere eyewash to hoodwink the public. We do hope that something will come of these raids, but it seems to be an exercise in cheating the public, because it is more than 4 years since news of this scam first broke in the media. And in these 4 years, so much action could have been taken, meaningful action could have been taken. It is very difficult to imagine that in this interval of 4 years, the Maran brothers would still be keeping incriminating documents in their residences or in their office premises. So, we have to wait and see whether anything comes of these raids.
Meanwhile, the seemingly cornered junior Marans at this time have some solace thanks to granduncle M. Karunanidhi. He had said that his party will not waver in its support to their senior leader, Dayanidhi Maran, who's at the center of a CBI investigation for misusing his office when he was a telecom minister. In a statement today, the DMK patriarch today said, and I quote, "The center has no role in this. It's improper to comment when the issue is in the court. That is why I was quiet. Murasali Maran has left his 2 children to me. I will support them as always and we will face issues legally," unquote. He has also said and added that reports that he did not support the Maran brothers is a part of a conspiracy by some vested interest to destroy the DMK totally, and that he has never hesitated to face any issue legally and will never do so in future also. He reiterated his faith in the doctrine that justice would ultimately triumph. In the desperate attempts to get the Prime Ministers to the alleged attacks on Indian fishermen by the Sri Lankan Navy, Ms. Jayalalitha has once again sought intervention. In a statement, she quoted that incident on Thursday when the Lankan Navy opened fire in air. Disappointed over the state of affairs, she stressed that the Indian fishermen were harassed even before India's Foreign Secretary reached Colombo for talks. Her main point was raised with Dr. Manmohan Singh was that there have been 16 attacks on Indian fishermen since May this year and called it the Lankan aggression against India. In other updates from the city, the alleged murder of law student Satish Kumar, which has been probed by CBI, came up for hearing at the Madras High Court today. The court has now asked the CBI director to appear in person and present the status report of the probe into the alleged murder of Chennai law student Satish Kumar. Satish was reported missing on June 7th. His body was found 5 days later in the ICF North Colony Lake. In his petition, the victim's father said that the little finger of his son's right hand was severed and there were injuries on his toenails, hip area as well as back and his head. Alleging involvement of several persons, he named 2 police inspectors against whom he had obtained an order for departmental action. A divisional bench asked the CBI director to appear in person when the case will again come up for hearing. The CBI director should inform the Madras High Court a day after tomorrow on when he will be appearing in person. On day 3, there seems to be no let-up in the demands or the rage among the 5,000 men and women observing a relay fast near Kudankulam nuclear plant. The villagers have decided to continue their indefinite fast and stick to their demand of a closure of the upcoming nuclear plant. Just to remind you that a few protesters met the Prime Minister a few days ago. They have now expressed their doubts over the conviction of the Tamil Nadu cabinet when they passed their resolution. This issue has gathered a wave of support from more than 8,000 villagers who have joined the relay fast in September. For the moment, shops and business establishments remain shut in Kudamkulam, while fishermen have decided to boycott work.
Central government should respect the resolution passed by the state cabinet and stop the work at the Kudankulam nuclear power plant. In case the central government doesn't pay attention to the state government's decision, we request the state government to reassert their ministerial resolution and press the government, push the central government to take the next step. In case until we hear from either the central government or the state government, our struggle committee and the village elders have decided to continue the hunger strike. So the 3rd day hunger strike is going to continue indefinitely, and we earnestly hope that central and state governments would come to our rescue. We are not obstructing the local body elections, but we earnestly hope that our votes also count and our feelings also count, and we want to resolve this issue before the election so that we can also participate in the elections.
A day after the campaigning drive across the state for the by-elections have come to an end, former Transport and DMK Minister K.N. Nehru was released from the Kadalur Central Prison. This happened in the wee hours this morning. After his arrest in connection with land grab cases filed by the CCB on alleged attempts to threaten and murder a realtor in the city last year.
அதெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் கோர்ட்டுக்கெலாம் போகல. இன்னைக்கு தான் மதுரை கோர்ட்லேருந்து அவங்க டைரக்ஷன் கொடுத்தாங்க. கோர்ட்டுக்கு தம்பி போயிருந்தார், நான் போகல. மதுரை கோர்ட்லேருந்து டைரக்ஷன் கொடுத்தாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம்
Is Advani all set for a bigger race through his yatra? We'll soon find out after the break.